What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So, Michigan State drops its first game of the season, the first game of the Jonathan Smith era, 19-23 on the road at Boston College. We're going to talk about it. Is Michigan State doomed for the rest of the season? What is this next stretch of games like as we head into this gauntlet of a schedule as we ended the end of September into October? And then what we liked and what we did not like from the game Saturday in Chestnut Hill. First, before we do hop into that, if you could hit that like and subscribe button down there for more Michigan State content. Basketball starts this week as well, basketball practice, that is, so plenty of more content coming on the channel. So let's talk about it. 19-23, Michigan State loses on a Boston College touchdown in the last 3 minutes of the game, and a game in which that Michigan State should have won. They should have won that. Their defense played absolutely incredible. Faced a very good quarterback, a very multiple quarterback, as we talked about going in Thomas Castellanos, forced him 10 for 16, 140 yards, and only one touchdown, which was that late touchdown, which was kind of just like a prayer up there. Wide receiver made a great play on it and went in and scored the touchdown. On the ground, they ran it okay, but still, as a team, as a whole, the Michigan State defensive line was able to do their job for the most part. Treshaun Ward, yes, 14 carries, 102 yards. But as a team, still kept them at 3.5 average, which is what we were looking at, because obviously coming in, this was what we talked about, was the key to the game. Who was going to win the offensive line, defensive line battle? And listen, especially in terms of team average, Michigan State still, by average, ran the ball better. I'm not saying the eye test they ran the ball better, but Michigan State averaging 3.8 yards per carry on the ground. Some of that obviously does go into a little bit skewed numbers with Boston College running it 10 more times than Michigan State, but that's besides the fact. And then through the air, Lewis Bond, like we talked about before the game, he had 6 receptions for 102 yards and that late touchdown. But besides that, only 4 other catches across the board. Defense played really well, came up with a huge Jordan Hall coming off the left edge of the offensive line there, right side of the defensive edge, making a huge 4th and 1 stop or 4th and goal stop, at the 1-2 yard line there late in the game as well. A lot of momentum was on Michigan State's side. I think looking back at the ESPN, win probability, I think it was at like 77% or something at some point there in the fourth quarter. And I know this is kind of all over the place to start the game, but obviously before the game, we didn't talk about it in the preview because obviously it wasn't reported, didn't know that it was true, but there started to be rumors midweek that could be without Nick Marsh. And we knew that Jerron Glover was going to be a game time decision. Well, Friday night and especially Saturday morning, that became official that Michigan State was going to be without Nick Marsh, without Jerron Glover. And then this was obviously already without Alante Brown, so that's 3. And then this was kind of a surprise. At least I hadn't heard anything about it either. From what I saw, a lot of people had it. Then when the availability report comes out, Antonio Gates Jr. is out as well. So that's 4 of your top 6 receivers out for this game. Besides that fact, it is raining all day in Chestnut Hill, raining throughout the game as well. So it's like, oh, this really is coming down to like what we talked about before the game. It's offensive line, defensive line, who can run the ball and who can stop the run is going to win this game. But in terms of the receiving core, they had guys step up. Montori Foster, 4 catches, 87 yards, a couple of big catches as well, a 40-yard catch down the seam. Jack Velling caught 6 balls for 77 yards. Isaiah Johnson, 3 for 59. The wide receiver core was good. We knew Courtney Hawkins would have these guys ready, and they were able to hang in there and make plays. So I guess without labeling it, we've just been talking about the good. Defense looked incredible. Run defense, pass defense, all looked really good. Hung in there in a lot of ways. The receiving corps stepped up with a lot of their guys out. Guys stepped up, made plays when they needed to. Special teams as well. Tough conditions out there. Jonathan Kim came in, made all 4 of his field goals, including a 51-yarder and his extra point. Ryan Eckley, 2 punts, 98 yards, 49 average. He did his job. As a team, 4 sacks on the game, 5 tackles for loss in total. But now, that's the good for now. The bad, and it brings me no joy to say this, Aiden Giles. And I'm just going to get in front of this now. No, I am not worried about Aiden Childs at all. Because listen, the fact of the matter is, yes, he did not have a good game. 17 for 35, 241 yards, and we really saw the roller coaster. We saw the incredible 40-yard seam pass down to Montori Foster. We saw some incredible, looks like he's getting sacked for 7 yards, twist around the backfield, boom, scramble for 14 yards, downfield, get the first down. Saw that a couple times. Like, we saw a lot of why everyone in green and white is excited about Aiden Childs, and should be, and why he has a chance to be Michigan State's best quarterback, and especially quarterback prospect going into the next level in a long time. But we also saw a guy in Aiden Childs with all that potential. This is still only his 4th career start. Listen, I thought he handled the pressure well of playing on the road. He made some big plays at big times when they needed to be made to put Michigan State in a position that they were up late in this game. And like we said, should have won this game. But the fact of the matter is, what do we talk about coming into the game in the game preview? You can't turn the ball over on the road and win the game. The fact of the matter is, Boston College, 1 turnover. Michigan State, 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions from Aiden Childs, including the last one with 40 seconds left when probably should have just thrown the ball away or just taken a sack or try to get 2 or 3 yards out of it. Threw it into double coverage in the end zone, but obviously that's Monday morning quarterback talk. But listen, we'll just wrap it on Aiden Childs right here. Again, I'll say I am not worried at all. This is his 4th career start, his 2nd big road start as well. Both of his games he's played on the road have been big time. It's your first one on the road at Maryland. It's the first Big Ten game, on the road. Maryland is, feeling themselves a little bit. Obviously Michigan State's underdogs going into that game. Michigan State underdogs going into this game as well. It's a big time environment there in Boston College. But we'll move on to it. Listen, K'Ron Lynch-Adams, and I still don't get the discourse on social media about this or on Twitter or whatever you want, that like, why is this still a debate? K'Ron Lynch-Adams or Nathan Carter? K'Ron Lynch-Adams should be getting all the carries. Listen, this is the 2nd, 3rd game in a row that K'Ron Lynch-Adams has out-carried Nate Carter. So he's getting more carries. They're not just going to completely go away from Nate Carter. This isn't going to be K'Ron Lynch-Adams gets 30 carries a game and running him into the ground. That's not what this is going to be at all. And listen, I thought K'Ron Lynch-Adams, had some nice runs, ran through some traffic at some times. And Nate Carter, I love Nate Carter. All Spartans love Nate Carter. I just don't understand. Obviously this game, 9 carries, 9 yards. But I still obviously you had to put a little bit of blame on him because he's the one carrying the ball and, got to make moves, got to make plays. But honestly, every single time that he has gotten the ball in the backfield this season, he's been hit in the backfield or at the line of scrimmage. He's had nothing to work with from the offensive line. And I know the offensive line, especially early on this season, have unfortunately lost 2 right guards, been moving some different pieces around at the tackle positions. But it's every single time that he gets the ball, it's like hitting the backfield or has to make an incredible spin move, and which you have to put some on the running back. Like, yes, you gotta make a plays, but it's like, can he get some help? Can he get 2 or 3 yards of push to get up and make a move and do something? So I do feel bad for Nate Carter because I feel like he gets some of the blame for 9 carries, 9 yards, but it's not all of his fault. Yes, you got to put a percentage of the blame on him, but he's got to have room. He can't just get the ball and 5 to 7 guys are in his face right away, and you expect him to just either run through all of them or run back 10 yards. It's you can't expect him to do that every single time that he gets the ball. So I don't really get the discourse there. Obviously, the fumble on the kick return to start the second half as well. Obviously, that didn't help, and didn't help with momentum either to start the second half. But Michigan State had opportunities to respond from that. Unfortunately, just didn't do enough to win. And listen, if we're looking for positives in this game, only 3 penalties. So they were able to clean that up, which was good. That's something to build on for next week. Things that we can flush, as they like to say, or move on. Obviously, the interceptions, the turnovers, that has got to be fixed. This is a young team, still a new offense that's gelling together. I think that'll fix itself over time. Obviously, they're working on that. They will work on that. But over time, I think that will improve. The offensive line just has to get a better push. There's no, you're not, Michigan State rushed the ball 33 times for 127 yards, 3.8 average. Had a touchdown in there as well. You're not even getting those numbers against Ohio State or Oregon, Iowa, Michigan. These next 4 games, you're not getting those numbers if you don't even get a little bit more of a push. So that's got to improve. Obviously, health to get any of our 4 of our top 6 wide receivers back next week, hopefully, will help as well. I can't say enough about the defense, though. In terms of that stuff we can flush, stuff we can hopefully hang on to, keep building on, and even improving on. The defense, the defensive line, the pressures, the sacks, obviously, keep them coming. The defensive backfield, keeping the pressure there. Charles Brantley almost had an interception as well, had a pass deflection. Angelo Gross had one as well. But keeping that pressure off the edge, Chris Bogle, Jordan Turner, Jordan Hall, Cal Halliday, the guys up the middle as well. Keep making plays, and I'm very, very excited about this defense going forward. Now, moving forward to Ohio State, obviously, we'll be back later this week with a full preview, but obviously this is going to be the toughest game on the schedule, probably for the whole season, but definitely to date. But just looking to take forward some of the positives in this game, that defense especially, see if that can hold up at home against arguably the best offense or top 2-3 offense in college football this year. See if that can, make some noise at home. Offense, if you don't turn the ball over, make some plays, make this an interesting game. Maybe try to sneak away with a big-time home win. Obviously, it will be very tough with the third-ranked Buckeyes coming in. But we'll be back later this week to break down that game and give a preview for it. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.